All right, so look, our boy CoryxKenshin's in some hot water right now. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people on the internet were trying to cancel him earlier this morning. It looks like a lot of the beef is dying down, but I haven't done the research. I don't know the full context of what's going on. All I know is some girl that Cory used to mess with is apparently sending some allegations in terms of him, I guess, abusing her to some degree, like being I don't know like to what extent she was or initially uh like I don't know to what extent she was initially trying to say that he was being abusive, but from what I've seen just from wandering around the internet, it seems to be a bunch of BS. So what I'm going to do today is I want to look at everything that's been given, all the information. I know that a lot of people have already looked into this, but I kind of want to see what the hell happened here. And as an up and coming content creator myself, I like to look at things like this as a way to potentially avoid problems myself in the future. And I think a lot of you guys should be looking at this the same way. Not once again, not just if you're looking to be a content creator, but just when it comes to relationships and dealing with the wrong kind of person. I'm wondering if there's any pitfalls here that Cory could have prevented. Chat, out of curiosity, how old is Cory? How old is Cory? Do we know how old CoryxKenshin is? How old is he? Um, Sounds like she's trying to get caught. That's what AI world. That's what it looks like. That's what it seems like. Cory's 30, 32. Yeah, chat, make up your mind. How old is CoryxKenshin? Cory's my ghost. Still already knew the allegations were big. Listen, I'll just be honest. From a surface level glance, it looks like a bunch of BS. Looks like somebody trying to clout chase. I'll be honest. That's just what it seems like on the surface level. Cory's 32. Okay, so Cory and I are about the same age. So apparently this happened several years ago. I don't know. But like I said, let's get into it. Let's just look at all this BS together and see what's going on. So I got some tweets pulled up. This all started on this account called Too Ripe, I believe. That's who was initially reporting on this. So the first bit of evidence here is just this is this video right here that this girl posted. I think, what is her name? Panda Anon Jax Official. Okay. POV, you didn't know this is one of the videos you look back on and realize he never cared. He just wanted to see how long you let him hurt you. Okay. See, right off the God, brother. Right off the bat, this is just like ultra cringe to me. I'm just gonna be totally real. Like this is already just farming attention, but let's just see. That's wild. Oh yeah, this looks so abusive, by the way. I just want to point out, oh my God, he's this monster. How could he? Making jokes like that to a woman in public. Inappropriate. Bro, dog, that just looks like a normal ass flirtatious conversation. But the thing is to try to frame that, look, to try to frame this as you didn't know this is one of those videos you'd look back on and realize he never cared. How do you get that from this video? How me as a random person, how am I supposed to get that if you just showed that, like, how am I supposed to get that? It just looks like you and him are flirting. That's it. What is this? Oh my God, bro. See, so listen, I was gonna say this right now, bro. Listen, I hate basing my opinions on people just based on like their physical appearance, but it's just like when the daddy issues is happening here, bro. Like I don't, man. God. This is just it's so cringe how much people will do for attention on the internet. Oh, wait. Oh, these videos don't exist anymore? I can't hold on. Oh wait, no. Hold on. Oh, they do. Hang on a second. This is so apparently okay. Apparently this is her personal TikTok account, and these are some videos that she posted earlier today. You know, I don't want to get a DMCA, so we're just gonna mute that real quick. I don't want to do this, but I don't owe you my silence anymore. There's no clean way to start. Just that familiar weight in my chest while the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. I was never part of your world publicly. God, I wonder why. You made sure I stayed close just far enough to be invisible. Smart, Corey. Very good job. Your followers eat up the whole man of faith image you push, but faith without basic decency isn't faith, it's branding. Okay, now listen, that statement at a glance is not incorrect, right? But this is something I also need to point out. The moment you come out on the internet and say that you're a Christian, you become an instant target. People will try to weaponize your faith against you at any opportunity that they get. I myself, for those who don't know, I've been very vocal on this. I don't beat people over the head with it, but I'm also Christian. I'm actually specifically working on Western Orthodoxy right now. I'm going through a process called catechumens. So I go to church. There's a priest that teaches us essentials of the faith, understanding Orthodoxy, the history, things like that, right? But I've never been shy about my faith. When it comes to content creation, that's something that I talk about from time to time, and it's not something that I'm ashamed of. Corey is the same way. Corey, I don't know specifically what denomination of Christianity, but Corey has implemented or made his faith an active part of his content creation journey. And I think there's something to be said for that. But here's the thing, and this is what people need to understand. The moment that a content creator brands himself as Christian and does anything outside of the bounds of what the secular world perceives as ethical, they will be ready to throw your Christianity, your faith inside of your faith. Inside of your face, excuse me. This is just another example of that. It's so corny to me. Now, granted, if the allegations were true about Corey, this would be an accurate statement, right? I think there is something to be said about Christians, especially Christian content creators, living the life of a Christian. I think that's very important. If you're going to subscribe to a faith and brand yourself around a particular faith, I think it's very important that you actively implement elements of your faith in practice that and make that how do I say this? Make it aware, make it known to people. Not so much that you're puffing your chest and being like, look, everybody, I'm a Christian. Look how great of a Christian I am. I'm Christian. But there should be actions that you take that show that people should be able to suspect where your moral leanings are, they should have some suspicion of your faith. Corey, once again, has done a great job of not beating people over the head with his religion, with his faith, but incorporating certain Christian-like principles into his content. For example, doing his best not to cuss, which is something that I am absolutely terrible at. When it comes to being a good Christian, I am absolutely terrible at it. However, I will say this too, with a broader sense, when it comes to Christian content creators, I think, and Gideon said this at one point in time. No, sorry. It wasn't Gideon. Well, Gideon may have said something similar, but I heard this from young Don the Sauce God. I think it's important that if you're a Christian, right, and you want to make YouTube videos or content, you need to be a content creator that's Christian rather than a Christian content creator. Those are two different things. Now, does that mean there's anything wrong with being a Christian content creator? Absolutely not. No. But there is a difference. And I think the difference and the distinction is that when you're a content creator that's Christian, I don't have to start every stream, but like, hey guys, listen, welcome back to live stream. I just want to remind everybody that Jesus loves you. Look, I just want to read you this Bible verse that really spoke to my heart today. I was actually in Psalms 144 today, and there was something that just spoke to my heart that Jesus just pressed upon me to tell you guys. Listen, I shall exalt you, but you see what I'm saying? Now, listen, if that's your brand of content and that's what you want to do, that's entirely fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I think that a lot of people, I think they try to make the faith their entire personality rather than just trying to live a stable and transformed life. And listen, that is it, bro. It's such a difficult thing to do, especially if you're like a new Christian, a very young Christian. Like you're super excited about sharing the faith and getting like grabbing people by the shoulders, like, brother, are you saved? You let me tell you the good word about Jesus. But that's not what wins people over. Just be a person. Just be a good person and try to live a Christ-like life. And I think that for the most part, that's what Corey's tried to do. But let's get back to the whole thing here. This is an example of someone trying to take that and weaponize it against Corey. And it's just it's part of the content creation journey. I guarantee you, at some point, as I grow as a content creator, there will be people that will pull all sorts of wild clips of things that I've said in the past. Because trust me, I have I have not been a good steward of my faith, a good example. But the thing is, for me personally, once again, I kind of go off the mantra of being a content creator that's Christian rather than trying to brand myself as a Christian content creator. I think it's more important that people see the transformation in me over time. There's some things that I just kind of will let go of or move away from. But anyway, I digress. I'm kind of getting on a soapbox here about the religious aspect of it, but I think it's important. I think it's an important element here because it's another area where people will try to hit Corey and where Corey will be vulnerable. At any rate, let's go to the next page here. You talk about devotion, but see, once again, you talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion. That's hypocrisy. You fooled a lot of people, but not me. Oh, I mean, you were fooled enough to date this man. When I met you, I was at one of the lowest. Oh God. See, then where's the accountability, bro? I was so vulnerable and at a terrible spot in my life. You got me when I was vulnerable. Oh my God. Shut up. When I met you, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was still healing, still trying to remember how to love myself after going so long without it. I had all this love and nowhere to put it. And for a moment, your attention made me feel seen. Like maybe I wasn't invisible anymore. Even writing this now has me crying so hard, I can barely breathe. Cue the theatrics. The pain still lives in my body like it just happened yesterday. I'm not writing this because I still care. I'm writing this because I've carried too much in silence. Oh, you're so brave. Okay, well, is that the end? Oh, you ghosted me. Not because you were confused, but to teach me a lesson. Hey, maybe it was an important lesson for you to learn. You made me feel like I had to shrink just to earn a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. Anytime I tried to speak up, you twisted into something wrong with me, and while I sat alone replaying every word, breaking myself apart just trying to make sense of it, they were out here calling you a positive role model. They'll never know how many nights I cried quietly into my pillow. Okay. Trying to convince myself it wasn't that bad, just so I wouldn't have to admit how deeply it ... broke me. My God. You never showed up when it mattered. You only came around when it was convenient. You wanted something when it was easy. But when I needed care, support, the bare effing minimum, you vanished. See, chat, look at me trying to be a good Christian, not cussing. That was your punishment. Silence, distance, disappearing like affection was something I had to earn. Like loving you too proudly meant I needed to be put in my place. Okay, let me just pause real quick before I read this next section. There's something I want to highlight here. This is something I don't talk about on this channel very often, but I think it's something that's very important to talk about here. Right? I think people need to understand that when you're someone of CoryxKenshin's status, and this might sound difficult, but when you're someone of CoryxKenshin's status, you have to be careful how vulnerable you are with people and how much you share with them. Rightfully so, there was something about this girl that Corey seemed to not trust. This on a surface level understanding without hearing his side of it and not fully, completely understanding her side. There's something about her that Corey must have not been, how do I say this? There's something about her that just Corey just didn't vibe with, which made him keep her at an arm's length if what she's saying is true. Now, The other half of this is how intimate was Cory with this girl? Because it was a situation where he's God, is it so hard for me to think today and find the words I need to say? If it's a situation where Cory's kind of stringing her along and he's getting her more and more emotionally invested, and she's thinking that he's making promises to her, and she's thinking that this is going to be something that it's not, all for him to just kind of pull back, that is messed up. It's like, bro, if you're not gonna commit to her, then just bag it and drop it and move on. But at the same time, she also needs to understand, like, Cory's got a lot to lose. And there's something I've learned recently, chat. You never fight with somebody who has nothing to lose. You never put bets against somebody who has nothing to lose. Cory has something to lose. This girl has everything to gain. And this is probably why Cory decided to ghost her, because she wasn't trustworthy. And now, here's the thing. Several years later, however long it is, now she's coming out trying to talk about, all these terrible things that I dealt with in silence, and now I'm going to expose it to the world because you don't deserve my silence anymore. A real woman of integrity would have just handled it behind the scenes with Cory, instead of trying to drag his name in the dirt and trying to expose him. That's the thing that gets me when it comes to like a lot of this internet stuff, right? Internet relationship stuff. It's like, if you have problems that bad with the person, address it with that person. Don't get the internet involved in it, because even if something did happen to you, to me, from my perspective, it always looks so bad when someone comes out and says, oh, guys, listen, there's so many terrible things that happen, and I just never wanted to say anything, but I'm just coming out to tell you that this person has a bigger following than me and millions of dollars, and I had a relationship with them, even though you guys didn't know it, but I'm telling you now, I had a relationship and they're a terrible human being. Because now what you're doing is, regardless of what actually happened, you're farming sympathy rather than actually dealing with the problem and addressing it with that person and actually healing. Now you're just going to not only reopen old wounds, but now you're going to add more baggage and more BS because it benefits you. That's why I always have a problem when people come out and talk about all this, this person abused me or hurt me, whatever. It's oh my God, it's so cringe. And that's the thing. As you grow as a content creator, you have to be more wary of these things, which is once again why Cory probably kept her at arm's length. And this is the thing, chat. This CoryKenshin situation, what it shows me, and it should be showing all of you, is that it is difficult to date out here as a content creator. It is very difficult. I don't know Cory's side of this, and I also don't know like her entire backstory here. But once again, from a surface level, it seems like Cory just did not vibe with her on a truly intimate level in the way that she wanted. Cory kept her at an arm's length because he's like, this girl might try to do some wild crap later on. And lo and behold, that's the thing. You have to be very selective with who you date. And whether you're a content creator or not. Because we live in a day and age now where it's like, okay, the moment an allegation pops up, it doesn't have to be true. If you're a young man, the moment an allegation pops up about you hurting a young lady, you're screwed. It doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter if you actually did anything. It doesn't matter if everything she says is fabricated. Your reputation is down the drain. You'll have, especially if you've got something to lose. Your sponsorships will be pulled away from you just by the perception of you in that moment. Johnny Depp is a prime example of that. We still haven't got a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's wild. That's why you don't tell him you're a content creator. Josh, depending on depending on how big of a creator you are, that's not an option. Not telling them that you're a content creator it's not the issue. If you're gonna be dating people, you have to have really good discernment skills. You have to, and once again, this is the chat. This is something I want all of you to learn. It's not just about, being a content creator either. If you're gonna date anybody, you gotta have really good discernment skills out here. If you don't, you're gonna get eaten up. And it doesn't even have to be anything as serious as your brands and your money and your entire following going away. It could just be how people in your personal life will start backing away from you just because of something that some woman says about you or some person says about you. At any rate, You treated my body, my heart, my time like they were things you could shelve and retirement when and retrieve whenever it suited you. Like I only existed when you needed to feel wanted. I mean, hey, maybe that is the case. And if that is, that is messed up. Not gonna lie, but you made sure your absence cut deeper than your presence. Okay, it's just, oh, wow, okay. And the worst part, that kind of damage takes effort. So congratulations. And then came the subtle jabs. You once asked if I wanted to know how much you made. I said no because I didn't care. I never depended on anyone. I've worked my whole life and made my own money. Yo, hitting the girl with like, hey, want to know how much money I make? I don't know if Corey actually did that, but if he did, that's actually wild. That's like those he videos, the how it should have been videos where it's like Batman and every episode of Super Cafe, he's like, hey, you want to know my secret identity? It's just like, it's so wild. I don't see Corey doing that, but hey, maybe he did, bro. I don't know. How do you not even know how much your partner make? Well, it's different. Listen, there's a difference between when you're it's different between when you're married and when you're dating somebody, right? If I'm dating somebody, I'm not telling her how much money I make. Especially if we've only been dating for a few months. Now, if we get like further into the relationship, maybe like 8 to 12 months in, because by that point, like we should have had a few conversations about marriage and children and how and like where we're going and taking it. Like that's different. But like even then, I don't know if I'm gonna tell it. Like I don't know if it's necessary for me to tell you how much money I'm making. It's like that old meme, like, you know, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs like, listen, don't worry about it. Like if we take a week-long vacation somewhere on the YouTube dollars, just don't ask questions. Just enjoy the benefits. Like it's not important. That's the thing. If you're not sharing in the expenses, it's not important for you to know my finances. Now, like I said, if you get married to somebody, that's a completely different situation. And they were, from what I'm seeing here, they're far from that. Yes, Mike, he mentioned. I love he. Still, you made me feel small for the job I had, like I was a disappointment just for not living up to your standards. Okay, I never asked for your money, your platform, your help, any of it. Well, here you are. You may not have done that, but clearly there was something. God, for some reason, Corey just had this sinking suspicion that maybe this woman would try to do some wild shit to me. But let's flip this over on the other side, because Corey is not exempt from criticism here either. Corey, if you didn't trust this woman that much, if you couldn't trust this woman to that degree, why are you being intimate with her? Why are you stringing this along like it's some potential relationship? Oh boy, I need more info though. I need more info. I didn't want what you had. I just wanted to be treated like I mattered, like a human being. But even that felt too much for you. I feel like we're repeating the same points over and over again. It probably bothered you that I wasn't impressed that I didn't melt for your image, your ego, your self-importance. Oh, yeah. See, now we're gonna go with the ego stuff. Are we gonna have any conversations about his dick size next? Is that gonna pop up in here at all? Because that's what women go for next, typically. That I saw right through. I still gave you the chance to be real, but that version of you, the one who could actually care, he never even existed. Then, okay, listen, if he was so bad to you so consistently, why did you waste so much time dealing with him? Right? If all you wanted was his time and attention, and he wasn't giving that to you, and he was just treating you like an object, why give him all that energy? Why give him that time and attention? Do better. Like, women love wasting their time with bums. Like, if this is accurate, this is an accurate representation of Corey. Why are you wasting your time with someone who's just treating you like shit? Move, bro, move on. I don't know. Then came your one grand effing gesture: flowers, candy, a teddy bear, and a card. Oh, my bad. That's why she stayed. Okay, he gave her a nothing but cakes package and a teddy bear, and it's like, we're good. The first thing you ever bothered to give me, the last thing that felt remotely real. Wow. Wait, hold on, rewind that back. Flowers, candy, and a teddy bear and a card. That was the first thing he ever gave you? Chad, am I doing so? Is that all it takes to get somebody's attention these days? Damn, that's like It's like bare minimum, bro. Like that ain't. That's all I gotta do. Shit, my game must be reached. Goddamn, that's crazy. Mm. You're tired of women playing victim. Listen, I want to make this very clear right now too. I don't want to make this a woman bashing session either, because what a lot of people tend to do, I'm not trying to go ultra red pill here, where this isn't fresh and fit, because men do suck. Let's just call a spade a spade. Actually, no, forget that. People suck. Chat, there are terrible women in the world, and there are terrible men in the world. And I've had the displeasure of meeting both. Guess what? It's called being human. And what we tend to see a lot of times in society is men being polarized, saying, oh, women, they just want money, and they just want to use you, and they'll monkey branch to the next guy, and they're just hypergamous. And then you have the women be like, all men are abusers and assholes, and they just want your body for sex, and they never want to treat you right, and they'll never take you seriously. It's like we're treating each other as enemies rather than understanding that we need each other. And I think like this is like one of the underlying things about all this drama that frustrates the hell out of me, because it's like, I'll just be real, the dating market is shit. Like I have so many talks with my other single 30-year-old something friends, right? I've had friends that have had multiple baby moms. I've had friends that have no kids. I have friends that have gone through divorce. I have friends that are single and working on careers, or getting into relationships and working on careers. Regardless of what camp they come from, dating sucks, and it's because everybody is trying to leverage the opposite gender, the opposite sex, for what they have. It's all about what I can get from you, rather than actually just trying to build something with somebody. I will say this too: the idea of monkey branching is also fairly common and fairly accurate, because it's like, well, yeah, this person is cool, but I feel like I can do better. And if I'm being transparent, I've had those same feelings myself when it comes to talking to people. But I also think that it's important to have certain standards or a certain framework when it comes to pursuing relationships. If Corey or this woman had more rigid standards, they wouldn't have fallen into this pitfall. But let's just keep going down the rabbit hole here and seeing where this leads us. Hello, Laser Gum. Welcome. My dad was the first guy who I found out was a bad. Hey, man, sometimes it works out that way. So it's honestly, that's normally how it works out. The people that are the closest to you are the ones that open you up, wake you up to realizing how dark the world is. But is what it is. What's next? Or how long is this? The card said, "Not me the way I feel about you is real. You're so wonderful, gentle, and kind. Not to mention, sexy ahem. I miss you, and hope this puts a big old smile on that pretty face." Oh. Corey, nerd swag. Okay, I remember I used to write women stupid, corny ass messages like that. It's dumb as hell. There's nothing wrong with writing a girl you care about a goofy odd message, but I feel like maybe finally something was different for a split second. I let it crack my armor. I let myself believe you. Did you really? I mean, you called that night important. Bro, how long is this? This is a book. You called it that night important heart. I had made a lot of mistakes, but you were never one of them. I effing cried because even after everything, I still wanted you to believe you're capable of being good to me. Okay. And then the next day, someone told me they saw you in California with another girl. Probably. That's crazy. I already knew where you were going. You told me that part, but you never said you were going. So, like, did y'all agree to be exclusive? Which, granted, if he's... I don't... How do I say this? This does not sound that far out of the realm of possibility. It is entirely possible that Corey was stringing this girl along, which is potentially true. But you never once said you're going with, so I assumed it was your family. That's how it always was with you. I never really knew what you were doing, just whatever pieces you decided to share. I mean, hey. All I did was ask calmly the way anyone's seen someone would. I'm just not the type to pray or get jealous over nothing. But the details don't add up. I pay. Okay, fine. Is that Clint? Hello, Clint. Here's the thing, Clint. First, you got to show me a victim. Yeah. If you actually show me a victim, then yeah, sure, I will believe him. But you got to prove that you're a victim first. That's the problem. Everybody says believe all victims, but it's like, how do I know you're a victim when you have so much to gain here? But then again, let me not be disingenuous or be ultra bad faith, because to be fair, it could be the case, and it's not unlikely it's the case that Corey was stringing this girl along. That is entirely possible too. Corey probably has a lot of options because of who he is. So, and that can be difficult, man. That can be a difficult thing to rein in. So, I can't send the vid file because I can't send the vid because the file size is large, but it's real. Wait, what's going on, Afro? What are you trying to send me? Hold on. Also, why are people messaging me right now? All right. Well, we won't be talking to Jay about any Fortnite shit today, so we're just gonna keep moving on with this. This is probably better anyway. But you stopped me. You said it was your sister. Got defensive. I wasn't accusing you of shit. Just wanted the truth. Wait, hang on. You don't know what his sister looks like? How close were y'all? If let's say this was a lie, right? He snaps you like, oh, I'm with my sister. It's my sister. Stop tripping. How long y'all been talking for at this point, and how do you not know what his sister looks like? I mean, I guess that's not impossible, but the guilt always slipped out before you get a recovery. You go, okay, gave yourself away, then ghosted again. You know what that kind of pattern does? Someone rewires your nervous system and teaches you not to trust softness, not to believe kindness, makes you think that it's something. Okay, yeah, I get it. That was real. Now, the street funny persona you flashed on camera is a selfish image of obsessed coward who cared more about looking good than being good. You couldn't even stay in the same room as your own consequences because accountability doesn't get likes, right? Uh, okay. I spent so long asking what was wrong with me, wondering how I could show up with my whole heart and still not be enough. Okay, I get it. I get it. You know how badly I wanted to be loved. Okay, I get it. I still gave you the benefit of the doubt. I get it. Bro, how long is this? This is just part one? There's a part two. Is this a trilogy? Oh my gosh, bro. Oh, God help me. Part two, it's where it gets worse. Okay, all right. Let's just get through this shit, bro. Because this video is already going on long enough. It wasn't even what you said. Okay, then came the Xbox. We're messaging people. Wait, hold on. We're messaging people on Xbox. It wasn't even what you said. It was how casually you said it, like nothing you'd done had ever left a scar, like you hadn't already shattered me once and just gotten bored. Oh my God. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh my God, Clint, that's so terrible. You should make a tweet, tag his entire community, and then come out with a tell-all TikTok post. I'll support you, King. All right. I can't believe Georgia would do something like that to you. But real quick, Corey, messaging the huzz on Xbox is crazy, bro. That's actually wild. Okay, so what's up? You still seeing someone? Why do you ask? Because I'm trying to F your life up some more. Wait, what? Because I'm trying to F your life up some more? What? That was a joke. Jeez, I was just asking. Never heard you curse before. That's why it threw me off. Okay. Like, it was funny, like it was cute, as if the pain you caused the first time wasn't real, the confusion, I mean, hold on a second. Okay, well. Okay. My chest locked up. I wasn't even surprised. Just furious. You still have the audacity to crawl back like you were welcome. Like I let you ruin me again for your own entertainment. I mean, did you? You didn't come back to make things right. You came back because effing with me made you feel powerful because you knew I let you. You thought it'd be too broken to bite back. Okay. Because I wanted you. Want me how? Like how I've had you. Whoa. Okay. Like in a relationship type of way or something else? Like something that, damn. I mean, that's kind of messed up. I wasn't a toy. I know that. I wasn't just about to message you after a year and ask you to be my GF. These are all were these confirmed to be fake? These are fake, right? Like this was BS. Somebody like doctored these. This conversation almost doesn't even seem real to me. But you know, yeah, Shotty King is a fake account. That's what it seems like, bro. Like this dialogue don't even seem right. But okay, whatever. This is what she's providing as proof. My guess was just a good F for you. When you said relationship, I thought you meant I was just gonna ask you. There's no way this is real, bro. Nah, I mean you were, but that's not all you were anyway. It doesn't matter. You're with someone. That's how I felt at the time. Even if I wasn't, I would have let you again. And when I did that with you, is something I just didn't do with anyone. You wouldn't have let me F again. No. Okay. I'm glad I'm the same. I don't F anymore. Double bummer. What? The difference between you and I, though, is that I don't do it with anyone just because I was SA'd. I'm not saying that for you to feel bad or whatever, but for you to understand. I know you told me that I didn't know I got lumped into the category with the person that did that. Okay, see, this is kind of messed up because now that kind of looks like it's victim blaming or whatever, trying to flip the script. But I just this whole conversation just seems out of place to me. Because I was being used for that. I guess that time when you told me how you felt was not real. Okay, so look, I'm just gonna say this right now. And this is gonna be such an unpopular opinion, but fuck it. I'm just gonna be upfront. If listen, this is good. People are gonna be so mad at me for saying this, but you know what? So be it. Listen, if you don't want to get treated like a sexual object, the best thing for you to do is to not have sex with somebody until you're aware of their intentions. And generally speaking, the best way to do that, and man, I know in the modern day and age is going to be a terrible take from me. God forbid. What am I in the 1870s? But the best way for you to do that is wait until you're married. Plain and simple. Because until then, quite frankly, you don't know the person's intentions. Quite frankly, someone's not going to put a ring on it and wait till marriage to take advantage of you, right? If they really want you that bad, right? They're not. If they're just, let me put it this way: if they're just in it for box, they're not going to play that long of a game. But the problem is, we don't live in a culture where that's acceptable anymore. We don't live in a culture where that's a virtue that people value. Instead, we get strong feelings towards somebody, we jump into a relationship, we start getting intimate, and then when it blows up in our face, we sit here and wonder what's wrong. A lot of the time, that results in children being born by two people that can't even stand each other. But we didn't know that because we didn't have any actual conversations about what it would be like to raise a family. We were just two horny people that decided to jump up and down, as my grandfather used to say, jump up and down into bed together, and then whoops, a kid happened. And now we have to figure out how to make this work. I got so many friends that ended up in that camp. It is an age-old story, time and time and time again. But hey, listen, in our culture today, when sex is cheap and everybody should be liberated and be completely autonomous and have no restraints on their personal autonomy, everybody wants the rights to use their body without any of the responsibility that comes with it. This is what you get. And honestly, if Corey was doing this, right, regardless of the context, these messages look like complete BS. But if Corey was doing this to any degree, shame on him, but also shame on her. Like, both of y'all got to take accountability for that. You are getting people, bro. People really do undermine how, oh God, how crazy sex will make people. Like oh my gosh, we treat something that's. We treat something that should be sacred. Listen, I'm not just saying this because of my religious background. Yes, of course, I'm a Christian. So obviously the Christian guy is going to have this standpoint. But I think if you're an atheist, you can come to the same logical conclusion. You have to be very careful when it comes to who you give your body to, man or woman, because it comes with a lot of baggage. And quite frankly, I don't think most adults are emotionally responsible enough to handle the responsibility that comes with that. But it is what it is, man. I don't know. No, but Clark, she was at her lowest point in her life, so she doesn't have the ability to use her brain. Damn, Wiz. Yeah, the CoryxKenshin support is crazy. I just gotta admit. Chat, listen. When I become a famous content creator, I expect the same level of support from all of you. Okay, if some dumb shit like this happens, pray to God it never does. This is the one pitfall I'm fighting my best to avoid. Holy shit. Let's continue here. Do you hear yourself? You knew I survived SA. You knew how hard it was to feel safe in my own body, and yet you use that as leverage. And once again, if Corey did do that, that's pretty messed up. That's what I'm talking about. I have talked to and dated girls that were victims of SA to different degrees. And the thing is, chat, I'll be real with you. That's another reason why it's good just to kind of hold off on that when you're talking to from a man's perspective, when you're talking to a young lady, because you don't know what their relationship with that is like. And jumping into it too soon, you can, even unintentionally, you can really hurt somebody by getting too excited or too eager to get intimate with someone. That's something like you really do need to. you really do need to take your time to get to know somebody before you get intimate with them. Even I know, listen, I know the average person's not gonna wait until marriage. And once again, I know that because I'm religious, the context of the way that I perceive it is going to be a little different. But I think that all religion does is it gives you more purpose for waiting. But I think once again, if you're more secular, I don't think that there's anything with keeping chaste, right? With restraining yourself from that when you're getting into a relationship with somebody, even if you're not going to wait till marriage, at least get to know the person to a significant degree. That way, you can really feel out their intentions because there will be signs, and the problem is you get intimate with somebody too early, it muddies the waters. It just like I've had secular friends that have like when they really liked a girl, they're like, hey, I'm gonna take this slow. I'm gonna back off. They weren't religious at all, or they were agnostic, and they were like, I really like this one. I'm not gonna just jump into this right away. I'm gonna take my time. There's something to be said for that, but you would be surprised. I remember one time my friends and I, we were sitting down at a table and we were talking about all the women we knew in our personal lives, friends, family, whatever. We talked about all the women in our personal lives that had been SA'd. And within like 20 minutes, we came up with a list of 50. It was so easy and that kind of goes to the argument I was giving earlier about like, there are a lot of messed up men in this world too. And a lot of the time for these women, it came from family members. That's like the chances of you meeting a woman that has some kind of trauma in that arena is so high, whether it's a boyfriend, a family member, a stranger, right? It's, you really gotta treat, when you think about getting serious with somebody, you really gotta treat that with a lot of grace because every woman responds to that trauma different. You got to figure that out before you just start getting super comfortable with somebody sexually. But anyway, anyway, threw it in my face. You didn't want me, you wanted access. Yes. Yeah. And if on the off chance I have any young women watching, yeah, that's the thing you have. If I listen, if I'm ever blessed with a daughter one day, that's one one lesson you got to teach them early on. There are so many weirdos out there that are going to try to take advantage of you. Simple. But I just, once again, the issue that I have right now contextually with this conversation is I don't know if Corey is that kind of dude. No, bro, I'm not saying that I've been essayed. I'm saying that my friends and I sat down, had a conversation one day about that topic, and we decided that we started talking about the different women that we knew that had been, and we within like 20 minutes we came up with like 50 different names. We could have honestly extended that out to so many more people, but 50 between like the three of us at that table, insanity. That's what I'm saying. It's far too rampant in our culture, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, we're talking about the CoryxKenshin situation to be specific. Clark, to be honest, I think if someone becomes someone relevant, their ex just jumps in and they say, "Hey, they hurt me, give me attention, not them." Lincoln, I'm not sure what you're trying to say right now, but I would need you to rephrase that. But yeah, I don't know. When I push back, you got defensive. I don't know why I got lumped in that category. F you, you put yourself there. Once again, I think these messages people have already come on and said these messages are fake. You cross the line. Once again, this is like a crazy smear campaign to just try to make CoryxKenshin look like a terrible human being, bro. Backpedal. You were never used for sex. I need to make sure that you understand that I loved you. Like I said, didn't have my shit together. Listen, I'm okay, look, I'm gonna be totally honest. I have used that excuse before. If a dude says, "Look, we can't date right now because I just don't have my shit together," it's because he's not interested. It's not because he doesn't have his shit together. If you're worth my time, I'll make it work. But I'll be real. That's a chicken shit excuse that I have used in my past as well. If I'm just not feeling you, we I'm just like, look, and once again, it can be true, right? But if you're someone that's really amazing, if we're really vibing, if I think that you're worth my time, that's something me and my friends were talking about recently. My boy Terrence and I were talking. I was no, not Terrence. It was me and my boy Nate. We were talking, And I told him, I said, bro, I said, that's the problem with like a lot of girls I run into. I haven't met somebody that I feel is really worth me investing time into, because relationships are a lot of effort. They're a lot of work, man. And look, as a content creator, it's like, it's difficult. How do you balance the relationship with your content? Because like my boy Nate was saying in that conversation, he's like, once you hit the 2-month mark with the girl, things start getting real serious and they start requiring more of your time. And that's okay, right? That's natural. But at the same time, it's like, I gotta stay focused. I got a lot of goals and a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish for the purpose of wanting to have a family. And to throw another person into the mix that I've got to now spend a lot of time and attention and care for and make sure you're okay, and we're doing things to keep our relationship fresh, to make sure I'm giving you the attention you deserve as my girl. Like that takes a lot. That's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And quite frankly, for me personally, and even not just me personally, a lot of my friends, we don't know anybody that's worth that time. Like relationships are a lot of work, and they need to be treated with grace. And the person that you're dating needs to be treated with respect, and they should be taking up your time and attention, because the goal of a relationship, hopefully, is for you to build towards something more profound. For you for you to build an actual life together. Most people, but to be fair, most people aren't getting into a relationship like for those reasons. They're like, you're hot, you think I'm hot, let's bang, cool. I guess we'll make this exclusive because like none of the other people that I'm banging right now are as hot or as interesting as you. And then let's just see how this works out. And then like when things start getting serious, you can't typically speaking, when things get serious, now the guy is kind of pulling, but like, I'm just not really feeling this as much. But the girl, like, she's super emotionally invested. And she wants to take up more of your time, and she's trying to plan stuff, and it's a lot. But Clark, calm down. My point is, there are so many conversations that need to be had. When it comes to dating somebody, it's a huge responsibility. That's the thing. Everyone thinks that they have a right to falling in love, but they don't understand the amount of responsibility that comes with that. A relationship, even when you're not married, is a huge responsibility. There is a lot of responsibility that comes with that from both sides, and it should be treated as such. Anyway, she said, you love me. How is that possible? The other nerd to say, I loved you back then. Really? You had the money, platform, fans, the house, the car, everything. You had every tool to be a decent human being. Hold on. None of these things make you a decent human being. Money, status, fans also count as status, a roof over his head, and a vehicle to drive. None of those things, baby girl, you are looking at the wrong thing. None of those things make him a good human being. All it does is it makes him someone with resources. That's it. That has nothing to do with your character as a person. Maybe it shows the discipline that this person has, but it has nothing to do with how good of a person he is. These are not tools to becoming a decent human being. Restraint, temperance, patience, love. Those are qualities. It's the metaphysical qualities that make somebody a good human being, not the physical items. But these are the things that are getting mentioned here. I think that's important to point out. You had every tool to be a decent human being. You still chose to care less with someone you claim to love. Listen. If what you're saying is true, you got treated like that. He didn't love you. I can just say that right off the bat. I didn't have my ish together either, but I still showed up. Yeah, but see the difference is you not having your ish together and him not having his ish together are two he has everything to lose and you have everything to gain. Now, once again, me saying that does not, if what she's saying is true, does not justify Corey's actions. But it's a different dynamic when you've got all these goals in your mind, you're fighting for something, and you're talking to somebody that you don't like. And let me say this too, right? It could be the case that Corey started talking to this girl. He got invested. He thought that it was going to be something. He spent a lot of time with her. And the more time that he spent, the more he started to realize this isn't it, but he didn't know how to cut it off because he was young. And he probably did string her along. That is entirely, it doesn't make it right, but it's understandable. It's completely understandable on Corey's part. And that's why, like, you gotta be really careful who you give your time and attention to, bro. But yeah, he was that's the thing, like, he was probably thinking long term as a content creator. If you're a content creator worth your weight, you're thinking long term. You're like, okay, is this woman going to be able to stand by me in my, for my plans and future endeavors? And if the answer is no, then this is like, well, you're gonna start pulling back a little bit. Um, I never use my chaos as an excuse to mind f someone else. Okay, guess empathy doesn't hit the same when the mirror's not pointed at you. Oh my god, she's just trying to hit these bars, and I'm just not feeling it. Because if someone can say I loved you after they've already showed you, what the f does love even mean? Well, that's not that. Well, that's not love. That's just a gaslighting tactic. But that's fine. Everyone else is reading this. I want you to really ask yourself: how would you feel? Would you keep making excuses for him? Would you still tell yourself it wasn't that bad? Because I did for a long time. I held in everything while they held him up. Okay. So, are you saying that you made excuses after the Xbox messages? Because you did, you're stupid, but that's fine. What makes it worse is how many people still praise you. Well, yeah, they praise him because his content's good, not because he's a fantastic boyfriend. How many don't know who you really are? How many built their platforms just by orbiting yours? And while all of that was happening, something else started happening to me. What would you do? If the nurse called your name at that moment, you sat down, the world stopped making sense. Okay, you're trying to get you shut the doctor's mouth. But the sound's already gone. No tears, just shock, like your soul stood out of your body. You let your lungs, heart's like, well, okay. Thoughts collapsed out of the words like chemo, mastectomy, radiation, and outside the pandemic. Wait, what? Tell more than a handful because you barely believe you. You walk out knowing your life just shattered. Okay, wait, she said she got cancer? You're forced to face the possibility that your story could end early. Oh, yeah, okay, so that is what she's saying. What do you feel is right for your soul? Okay, reach out to you. I didn't reach out because I was weak. I did because if my time was up, I wasn't taking your unfinished damage with me. So what? You reached back out to him, and what did you say? That that was the most passive aggressive cancer reveal ever. Once again, oh my god, that's so messed up. It's funny, bro. Like that's actually crazy. Oh man, I don't want to believe that Corey said that, but if he did, that's 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 out of pocket. It's just old wasn't cruel. But hey, look, you at this point you're going back to a person that's consistently treated you like crap, and now you're looking for sympathy from a person that's already proven to you to be an asshole. Which once again, it does suck, but like don't like look, the last thing if something life changing happens in my life, the last thing I'm gonna do is go to an ex or some girl that I used to talk to that treated me like shit and be like, I just wanted to talk to you because I just want to let things go unsaid because my life could end. I have so many more important things to do than to be talking to somebody that doesn't give a shit about me. And it's proven that they don't give a shit about me. But hey, you know what? Maybe that's just me, bro. Is there any substance to any more of this shit? Is this just all okay? Heartless. Take some accountability, homie. Yo, Chuck, can you imagine a man doing this? Like if a dude came out with a tell-all about a girl that he used to talk to and just like and just I can't imagine. Like there's no way. I don't know. There's another gamer sliding in. I think that's strange. I just don't know. I'm not reading part 3. This is all so much BS. This is such a waste. I'm not doing this. Gonna share the message that I think were the most important. Okay. So this is all the stuff that we read in the post. Okay. I'm gonna quote because we don't really have full content. Apparently these messages are fake. She also said Corey didn't SA her, which I think is pretty obvious if you read the OG tweet above and the TikToks, but also makes me wonder what the video was about. Corey hurt her feelings, I guess, because he just stopped talking to her. But hey, and once again, maybe this all did happen, but what is this? Yo, shout out to the girls that are detectives that that we look at the fine details like that, bro. I was even thinking about that. Not edited the first color. Hold on, there was another tweet that came out that did prove that this was edited. I think. Guys, you might be okay. Cory is innocent. Yeah, I did read this earlier. Wait, what? Explain. I have hella stuff going on. Cory allegations. Okay, let me copy and paste what she said at the end of her tweet. So her friend tweeted this, but apparently do not take my word for this. I'm just doing what her friend posted. Cory was in love with that girl till he found out she was cheating first and pregnant with another dude's baby. She then tried to say it was his, but couldn't hold on. But I couldn't hold my tongue because this isn't right for her to lie to a good man like him. They were both young, making stupid choices in life. I'm not asking you not to hold him accountable for ghosting her like that, but I'm simply saying to listen to each side. Yes, I did wrong by helping her edit those SS. I'm assuming that means messages. I hope y'all can forgive one day. So this person helped edit the message. Hold on. What is this? I'm confused. More proof. Well, I kind of forgot to record it, but not gonna lie. She said the girl's friends edited the photos for her, and that's why we got these fake ass exposes for Cory. We don't take lists. Always some haters trying to stop a good streak. God damn, bro. Cory was in love with that girl till they found out. Okay, I'm not asking for you not to hold him accountable. Ghosting her. Or like, wait, so hold on. So he ghosted her after he found out she was cheating on him with another dude, and then tried to say the baby was his. Which Cory, stop putting your dick in. Cory, stop putting your dick in girls, bro. Just stop, bro. You got too much. Just stop it, dog. You can't. You can't be throwing your dick out there like that, bro. You gotta calm down, okay? All right, man. This is so wild. It's so crazy. That's, I don't know, man. I'm very curious about Cory's perspective on this. I don't know if Cory doesn't seem the kind of person to come out with a reply, but you know, the booty look. Oh, is Loot Station here? Hello, trolley. So basically, she cheated on Cory, got pregnant, tried to convince Cory that it was his child, and then he left and got mad and tried to take. Yeah, that sounds about right. Your meal ticket's gone. Can you imagine if she actually got Cory to believe that was his kid? GG's. You know, throw some fried chicken in the chat, bro. It's over. Okay, so since people are actually believing whatever's being put out, let me go ahead and say the facts. For one, she was essayed, but not by Cory, which that was showed in the messages. However, he did make a joke about it being aware, so he is at fault for that. I mean, okay, which even that, it's like, do they have did they have a history of making edgy jokes to each other? Which when I'm not gonna even get mad at him for that. I don't know the full context behind that either, so it is what it is. Which, by the way, she outright said it was an ex prior to Cory. Two, this happened in 2018, brother. 28. So we're talking 7 years ago. So the factor that people are bringing this up in 2025 is crazy, given that most people have changed within that time frame in which Cory. So what? Y'all said Cory's 32 now? So what? He was 25? Bro, there's a lot of shit I did at 25 that I wouldn't do now. Shit. Bro, listen, early 20s Clark was a different person. Let me tell you. When you're young and horny, bro, you'll do some wild shit. So that's why I get it. I'm not doesn't make it okay. But that chat, that's why I'm telling you. Be careful where you put your dick. Seriously. Like, actually, just you gotta be careful. It's too much shit out here. Not just STDs, bro, but just like, oh my God. It's just the bag. That's the thing, bro. This is what keeps, I think, a lot of us from relationships. Like, the baggage that comes as a result of dealing with somebody whose intentions you don't know. It- it's just not worth it a lot of the time. The people who are just outright bashing him saying he's completely guilty is beyond insanity. Let's actually think, people. If the girl wanted to expose Corey, she would have already done it with actual. Yeah, but why now? Why is this coming out now? What happened? Did they talk recently? Why is she doing this now, 7 years later? I'm confused. Like I don't understand that. Yet every piece of proof is some context. Yeah, right. So a friend tweeted this apparently. Okay, so that was, we already read all that. She does this every year. Okay. Okay. Corey finally got tired. Oh wait, it's on Twitter. I can scroll back, but apparently the old girl was asking people to edit the screenshot. She dropped an audio of her admitting she was also into Corey sleep thingy. Okay. Had a sideman while dating Corey and tried to play it off. Corey finally got tired of her, cut her off, and was just leaking Corey whole friend group numbers, and even has essay allegations or so. Okay. All right. It's just I want, just one last thing, bro. Just one last thing I want to do here. Let me just go to her profile. Oh shit, the whole post got deleted? Well, thank God. Thank God we looked at it before it got deleted. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, the whole post is gone now. Damn. Hold on. Can I look at the Yeah, no, I can't even look at the comments anymore. I don't know, chat. Look, we're gonna end this how we started it, bro. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. One, don't just put your dick in anything. Okay. Two, don't put your dick in anything. That's really the that's really the most important thing, bro. Listen, man or woman, be careful of who you're giving your body to. Sincerely, I think that's the first. Like, if I'm like taking the memes out of it, pay attention. Pay attention to who you're giving your time, your energy, your attention to, because there's so many people that are looking to take advantage of that. If you have something to gain, right? If you are someone of status, you have to be far more discerning and careful about who you are associating with. That's why, like, chat, for example, right? When I talk to y'all about going to the Fortnite tournaments and I talk to the larger content creators, I realize that there's going to be a barrier between me and them to a certain degree, just because I have a lot to gain and they have a lot to lose. And if people are a bit more cautious about interacting with me or collaborating with me, that's entirely fair, because they're in a completely different arena than I am. And you have to, sometimes if you're looking to associate with people of a higher status, you have to humble yourself and really wait for the opportunity to be invited up to do things instead of putting yourself in the same place as them. Now, when it comes to relationships and all this is what I have to say about it. Just looking at this, all this last hour of time that we spent on this whole thing, I think Corey from what it seems like Corey got really invested in this girl. They had some good moments. They were intimate. But looks like she was doing some underhanded stuff. Corey started to back off. That pissed her off because, well, hey, her meal ticket's gone. She got pregnant by another dude. That dude was probably a bum. And even if he wasn't CoryxKenshin. So in retaliation, she decided to start digging up crap about him. And apparently she's been doing this for the last 7 years. So hey, it is what it is. But this is, once again, more of a reason to be cautious about who you're getting intimate with and who you're sharing your time with, who you're sharing certain things with. Last thing I want to say is this, and this is the big takeaway for me here, which is that dating in general, let's take the Corey situation out of it. Dating in general is very difficult in the modern day and age. There's so much temptation. There's so many ways to get caught up. People don't take the time to understand what it means to actually be in a relationship, and that's unfortunate. Because it leads to a lot of hurt and broken people. A lot of the people that are getting into relationships right now have no business being in them because they're hurt and they're broken and they don't know what they're doing. They're not taking the time to actually understand what it like. You need to. No one's trying to take the time to hear the other side and understand where they're coming from or really what they need. It's more relationships are more of a way for people to leverage and weaponize the other sex for their own personal gain. You see it with red pill content. You see it with feminist content. We are like men and women are divided right now. Things are very divisive between us, and there's not a lot of people that are trying to unify us. We're constantly being separated, and it's unfortunate, but it comes across in the dating market, not just on the. It's not just about being online and being terminally online and being on the internet, but let's like even in day-to-day life. If you step outside and touch grass, you can see. It doesn't mean that people don't get in relationships right now. It doesn't mean that good relationships don't exist. But I would argue that good relationships are a lot more rare. And I think that's the unfortunate realization of this. Rather than, like I said, building with somebody and actually trying to get invested in somebody, we'll take opportunities like this CoryxKenshin situation, to prop ourselves up our own social media page and get our own follower count up and and farm attention and sympathy, because it makes us feel good for the moment rather than building something with somebody long term and creating a legacy. I think a lot of the people that are getting into relationships now, even when I look at like some of the red pill guys, red pill content, maybe we'll have to review some red pill content at some point. But when I hear people talk about relationships, every person that's talking about them, they think they're going to be young forever. Sleep with as many girls as you can before you get married. Make sure you have fun. Live your life. Use a man for all he's got. Get as many free dinners and free trips as you can. All this goofy shit, right? And it's just like, how long do you think that party's going to last? There's going to be a day where you hit, if God blesses you long enough, you can hit 40, 45, 50, 60 years old. And when you have no family, no children, no legacy, and nobody next to you at the end of the day, you better pray that you got a good relationship with God that's going to keep you strong, because there's going to be a lot of people that need somebody and they're not going to have anybody. Because instead of chasing success and legacy and something that actually means something, you're going to be chasing vice and status, and it's going to leave you empty. A lot of people are going to be left very empty because of their decisions. At any rate, that's my TED Talk. We're going to end the recording here. I love y'all. If you're watching this on the second channel, make sure to subscribe, man. We do content like this all the time. I'm going to go ahead and upload this bad boy. I don't think I'm going to add any music or anything. I'm just going to upload this to the thumbnail, title, and tags. We're going to call it a day. Chat, say bye. We love y'all. Hey, make sure to follow on Twitch too, all right? Link to the Twitch will be in the description. We love y'all. That's it.